Hello and welcome to English Capsules. Today's capsule, learning and music. Get your coffee ready and let's get started.
Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes, and eyes and ears and nose and mouth. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
Okay, we haven't lost it yet. We're not crazy. This is just to illustrate the point of what we are going to be dealing with today, which is music and learning, like I said at the beginning.
We chose to start with a children's song to show how important singing is, how many things can be taught, and how all of you, no matter how old you are right now,
Hmm.
are singing this song in your head. This song is a very basic one, teaches you parts of the body. But one thing that is true, you are never able to forget it. This is stuck for you with you since the
Mhm.
moment you learned it.
Uh, and in this case, in the case of this song, you're being taught vocabulary regarding parts of the body, but at the same time, you are repeating that well. I mean, your pronunciation is the correct pronunciation. So, what this song is doing is teaching vocabulary, teaching you to pronounce well, and it is enhancing your memory in a way because you will remember when you sing the song the parts of the body, right? So we wanted to show you this with this song to tell you that there are many studies now that indicate that music and language are connected in a way. Why? Because they share some processing pathways, okay? Um, Many years ago, when we were at university, we had a subject called linguistics, which was very interesting for me. In that subject, we learned something about Broca's area. Maybe this is Chinese for you, but well, uh, Broca's area is a part in our brains, a very particular part, which is in charge of language processing. So it processes language and also it processes music in a way because the words that you listen are also language.
Which means that this area is the one in charge of storing this information in your brain. So,
Mhm.
why is it interesting that this information is actually stored in your brain? That you will find 100 times easier to remember a song rather to remember a grammatical structure or a tricky vocabulary topic that you're studying, for example. Um, we normally discuss before we record the episode, and we were saying like how much we use songs in our classes when some topic arises, because we believe that it's much easier to remember the song rather than to remember some meanings. Like for
Mhm.
example, in the case of phrasal verbs, I'm always looking for songs that have like some connection towards them because it's easier to remember the meaning of the song rather than the meaning of the phrasal verb.
Exactly.
Like if you say turn on means like to start one piece of
A
equipment,
device.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you hear Sia singing come on, turn the radio on,
Mhm. Exactly.
probably you're going to associate it and you don't need the meaning because you see it.
So the melodies and the repetition help to memorize and to recall these examples because they are more tangible in a way. Uh, we also mentioned pronunciation, right? Pronunciation improves because you are listening to something, and this is like an audio you can do in the class. You listen to the audio, you do some activity. Okay, the song is the same. You listen to something, but instead of doing an activity, what you do is to sing along. And when you sing, you repeat over and over again what you have just listened to. So, in a way, you're practicing without even realizing you're practicing. So, your pronunciation improves, uh, you acquire an accent, maybe, or it facilitates to acquire an accent.
Or it
Uh,
clarifies the way in which you pronounce a word. You know that sometimes we have like fossilized the mistake of how we say something, and
mhm,
then you hear someone singing it, and you are like, ah, okay, this is not the way you pronounce it. So another thing that music gives you is cognitive and emotional engagement, which is true. Like, it's easier to remember something that is connected to your emotions.
mhm,
I have seen this recently in a class with one of my students that she's more or less my same age. So I like it because I remember a lot of songs from pop music from the 90s, and she's like,
mhm.
"Oh yeah, I know that," and she remembers. Like, we
Yeah.
have seen a lot of progress. She's a beginner, and she remembers the songs. She remembers the names of groups. So, and this is the difference between songs and movies, I believe, is that songs are not translated or doubled. Songs are in the original language in
Mhm.
general, so there's no way to get a different version, let's say.
Yeah. So in this case that you're mentioning, learning becomes more motivating because you have a student who is able to recall, to establish relationships, to, I don't know, to remember maybe other songs, other groups, and it's like motivation never stops. Um, and also, something else that music gives us is that it reduces stress. You know, when you are an adult and you are learning another language, you become a little bit like stressed because I don't know if it is stress exactly. Maybe anxiety could be the term, but it is like something new. You are risking your your face in a way. It's not the same as for children. So if you are listening to music, that music can aid to reduce stress.
Now that you mentioned that, I remembered something we used to do when we worked together. You remember that when they were doing writing or some sort of activity like this, we would play like some background chill music and this
Hmm.
in order to
Yeah,
relax the
yeah.
students.
It was very good. In fact, there were groups who who recorded their own music. Like, okay, it
They
was
made a
like a mashup,
playlist.
like a playlist, and they brought it to the class. And it was really cool because they were singing and relaxed. They could work a lot better. Yeah.
So yeah, and again, then probably in the future you can use one of these songs to remind them of a particular structure, to remind them of vocabulary that they are having trouble to remember. So maybe they find it easier to associate it with a song.
Mm-hmm. Where this is what we were saying at the beginning, like we were brainstorming some of the songs that helped us learn. Uh, for example, topics like the present perfect. I mentioned, have you ever seen the rain? Which is like the question you will be asked if you are learning the present perfect. Um,
I still remember the song we had in our book when we were learning, particularly the present perfect. The present perfect is very traumatic. We talked about this in another
mhm,
episode. And I remember that it was an episode in which the characters were going to Australia. So it was like, have you ever been to Australia? Have you ever seen a kangaroo? I don't remember the rest of the song, but I remember that. And that
mhm.
gives me the structure. Have you ever? So
Yeah.
they are meant for you to remember them.
But in this case, we are talking about the same grammar point, the present perfect, but from two different angles. In the case of the song you are mentioning, it was in a textbook. like aimed at teaching, you know? So it was like, in a way, a bit forced. It was also, it worked, of course, but it was like pedagogically adapt. In the case I'm mentioning, it's like, have you ever seen The Rain? It's a song everybody knows by Rod Stewart or Creedence. Everybody knows the song. And it's like, you can listen to that on the radio, on a playlist in Spotify or whatever, and it's a real song. So I think that music helps always. Of course, this is if you like songs. There are some students who don't like it, who don't enjoy listening to music, not particularly in English, but music in general. So with these students, it's a bit harder to establish the relationships that we were mentioning because they are not going to know the song, they are not going to listen to that. It's like it's not motivating for them. But well, that's your job as a teacher to find what's motivating for that student.
I was going to say that it's a matter of reading your class, like knowing your audience in this case.
Mhm.
Like I told you, I have this student that we are close in age and we share this of music. I have
Mhm.
another student that is more or less the same, but she's not into music. So I mentioned some
Right.
things, and for her, it's like I'm talking another language. So I stopped trying to use that resource. Then I have another student that is more or less the age of my father.
Okay.
So my resources go more like to the Beatles, Queen,
Yeah.
songs that I know them, but these are not my primary songs, let's say, right?
No,
These
but
are
at
not.
least your student can establish the connections by himself, you know?
Yeah.
You are aiding, you are showing the path, and he can establish these relationships. But well, so we are going to leave a question for our audience.
Mm-hmm.
And the question, of course, is related to this topic. The question is going to be, what song taught you something related to a language? It can be English or it can be another language you're learning.
Right.
But if you can leave your answer here below in the platform that you are using to listen to us, or on our Instagram account, The English Capsules. Okay, so before we go, remember to subscribe if you haven't done it yet, give love to our content, and spread the word to help our channel grow.
Also, remember that you can rate our episodes and comment on each capsule. Activate the bell so that you know when our next capsule is out. And take a look at the description and our Instagram account to take more advantage of our content.
Okay, that's all for today. Bye for now.
See you in our next episode.